Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. It is time for the Crypto Conversation Market Sentiment Report. And spoiler alert, the sentiment isn't great right now. I think you're probably aware of that. But yeah, let's have a little look at the market. Are you ready? Time to get on with it. All right, as always, we're going to start over here at bravenewcoin.com. So don't forget, if you want to listen to this as a normal podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please feel free to do so. Or you can watch along with me on the Brave New Coin YouTube channel, because I'm going to have a few visual references for this particular episode. And just before we get into it, I need to give a shout out to our new show sponsor here at the Crypto Conversation. That, of course, is Prime XBT, which is an award-winning Bitcoin-based trading platform which offers up to 50 different assets across crypto, forex, commodities, and indices. And to provide the highest level of liquidity, Prime XBT aggregates data feeds from 12 industry leading exchanges and data feed providers. Now, Prime XBT offers up to 100x leverage on cryptocurrency assets and up to 1000x leverage on the traditional markets, and it has an interface that is suitable for both a beginner and professional traders. All right, yes, Prime XBT. It's also home to a co-vesting platform which allows users to apply the copy trading strategies of the most successful professional traders. Do you want to learn more? Of course you do. Just go to primexbt.com and I will have a link in the show notes. All right, now it is on with the show. So yeah, here we are at Brave New Coin. The BLX, Bitcoin Liquid Index, has Bitcoin just over $49,000. Ethereum, the ELX, yeah, Ethereum, not doing so bad. But of course, Bitcoin has been absolutely smashed in the last week or so. Rather than show you a chart, this is just a still. This is Josh's chart. So Josh, of course, lead analyst here at Brave New Coin. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, I'm sure you're a regular watcher of Josh's videos. So he put this out a couple of hours ago, earlier today. It's the trading setup for the week. And, you know, yeah, I suggest you watch it if you haven't watched it already. So you can see that, you know, Bitcoin, we were doing okay, you know, had this all-time high and then came down and then just an absolute plummet right down to, you know, I don't know, below mid 40s. So this happened on Friday last week. Just a massive red candle right through the cloud down to the downside. Another way of looking at this, of course, is Josh's famous pitchfork. So, you know, from kind of the middle of the pitchfork, looking potentially okay. You know, Josh had these potential upside targets if we stayed bullish. And well, we haven't. So now we're sort of down on the opposite side of the pitchfork. And, you know, Q4, all bets are off. You know, a lot of people were looking for 100K this month, December. That does not look likely anymore. So it's not quite doom and gloom, but I mean, I suppose it is doom and gloom really. The crypto fear and greed index, which can hop around. Right now we're at extreme fear, so you know it's not quite full-on bear market territory, but you know it's not good either. Were there any signs of this? Was the market overheated? Maybe. I mean, one thing that this is maybe a bit of a stretch, but you know, Josh of he's the co-founder, Josh Wolf, co-founder of Lux Capital. Few weeks ago, he published a Q3 report, really, and it did get a lot of traction. A lot of people enjoyed it, simply, I suppose, because of the quality of Josh's writing, the quality of the analysis. But it was quite a sober report. I mean, there's a lot to get through, but some of the highlights, he just talked about being reminded of the importance of heightened humility, and he cautiously catalogued an excess of excess. So it's quite nice use of language, as I say, quite well written. But yeah, so he was, again, that's kind of just worth pointing out. It was about heightened humility and cautiously cataloguing in excess of excess. And this is wasn't really talking about crypto specifically. He's talking about all markets, but certainly crypto being more volatile than all other markets and kind of quite correlated with the stock market at the moment. So yeah, if the stock market sneezes, yeah, crypto catches a chill. I just made that up, but I think that works. What else did Josh say? Yeah, he had this interesting thought experiment, looking ahead to 2022. Are we going to say that it was another remarkably incredible year, bull market continuation? Or are we going to say that failure comes from a failure to imagine failure and 2022 was a punch in the face? So, I mean, we still don't know. But yeah, again, is it a time for caution or is it a time to throw caution to the wind? Is, the excess is in excess. So if you prepare for the turn, sometimes preparing for that turn is wiser than predicting when it may come. So just, be prepared. Right. I mean, those are kind of the key points. There's a lot more, obviously, if you want to read the full report, if you haven't already. Lots to dig into. I think the other key takeaway that he talks about is this idea of what he calls the Hemingway hinge. Easy way to explain that is just things occur gradually, then suddenly, and the creaks of that hinge are audible. Yeah. Interesting. So I think one of the things that has come out of this Bitcoin crash from the end of last week is, everyone was expecting a bull market peak in December this month, and now suddenly that looks like it's off the table. So, what does that mean? What does that mean for cycles, cycle theory, bull and bear markets, stock to flow? Yeah, all this stuff has kind of been turned on its head. So, Will Clemente is one of the leading on-chain guys. It looks like, maybe we just range now between 40 and 50K, a bit more. We sort of go back to that boring ranging Bitcoin. And, Ari Paul has a good point. Crypto has perhaps broken all direct analogies to prior cycles this year. I think that's a really good point. A lot of us were debating, says Ari, if this cycle would look like 2013 or 2017. But, the long term, the answer to such a question is, look, things are just different now. So, Ari is basically saying that the 4-year cycle is probably over. And I think that makes sense. So, another thing that is not necessarily over, but man, in serious danger of possible invalidation is Plan B's famous Bitcoin stock to flow model. So Plan B's been a little bit quiet at the moment. He posted this, the bears are perhaps keeping Bitcoin down. Maybe that's probably true, but yeah. So I think from memory, if stock to flow is to hold true, Bitcoin needs to be hitting an average of 100K really this month. And that does not look likely. So be interesting to see, how Plan B reacts to all this and whether he decides to acknowledge that later this month. Yes, just including this because this is, it's a bit of fun really, but, before Plan B stock to flow, there used to be this rainbow chart, which is kind of similar really. So the idea being, if Bitcoin is in the middle, which it is now in the yellow, hold. Anything in the green to blue is cheap Bitcoin. That's the buy zone. and anything in the orange to red is the sell zone. Yeah, and I mean, it's a little bit of a meme and it's a little bit of a joke, but if you had followed this rainbow chart right through Bitcoin's history, you could have done worse than following that strategy. You know, for perhaps a more nuanced look at something similar, you know, you could do worse than look at me old mate Dave the Wave, a fellow New Zealander. So Dave here is talking about, you know, many are now abandoning stock to flow and perhaps looking at a lengthened cycle theory. But I think, you know, Dave, he talks about he himself looked into this kind of lengthened cycle idea back in 2018, but decided instead that he thought that we were going to have diminishing cycles as we get an increasingly liquid and mature market. So that means, you know, we get a kind of diminishing returns as Bitcoin becomes increasingly monetized because it's just a more mature liquid asset. And I think a lot of people are coming around to this idea now. I mean, you know, diminishing cycles. You know, perhaps it means we don't get the quite extreme bull cycles, but we probably wouldn't get the extended bear cycle as well. So you can read Dave's Substack if you want to go deep into it, but it just means instead of this nice long extended cycle that we got in the past, it's a little bit choppier. We get more corrections, but but those corrections don't last as long, and the general trend is still up and to the right. So yeah, even, you know, Will Clemente is talking about this as well. We probably need to get rid of this binary concept of traditional Bitcoin bull and bear markets. Probably less value in trying to project the past onto the future instead of just imagining what the future looks like. All right, what else is going on? Thought this was interesting. Dan Held posted this. It's from a new Grayscale report. If you want to read the full report, just go to grayscale.com or whatever their website is. But yeah, interesting. Grayscale, they say that 1 in 4 Americans who have over $10,000 in investable assets, 1 in 4 of those investors already owns Bitcoin in some form. So, I mean, that sounds high, but I suppose that's right in terms of just, you know, investors. So, you know, Bitcoin, not quite the niche asset that it once was. Yeah, lots of people do own Bitcoin. Thought this was interesting as well. So, you know, the Bitcoin futures ETF that was approved, how long ago was that? I don't know, 6 weeks or so. Famously the fastest in ETF to attract over 1 billion in capital in just its first 2 days. But now, thanks to last week's dump, the ETF performance is actually down 19% since launch versus just a 9% decline for Bitcoin over that same difference. And the reason for the difference between that 9% and 19% is, of course, the futures contango. So, yeah, that's not that's what everyone was potentially worried about, that negative rollover yield, and well, that has come to pass so far. Yeah, don't know if that makes it. Doesn't make it any more likely that we'll get a spot ETF anytime soon. But man, yeah, that's not good. Not a good look. What else? Well, yeah, I mean, this kind of puts everything into stark contrast. You can see why some people are just, you know, find Bitcoin, or they see Bitcoin as the boomer coin, because look at Bitcoin has done, it's up about 150% over the year, which is, you know, good, really good. But man, look at these. I mean, top performing coins of 2021 is, well, you got a meme dog coin, top performer, and then you've got, you know, Gala and Axie Infinity, metaverse coins, I guess, Sand, metaverse coin, Luna, smart contract platform, potential ETH killer. Same with Solana. But just ridiculous returns there. So that maybe the market was frothy. When you can get that kind of return on a dog meme coin, it seems quite frothy, right? All right, what else? Let's finish this off. Don't even want to talk about Craig Wright, but did you see? Yeah, so this long drawn out court case he was involved with, the jury, yeah, they didn't rule against Craig on all of the different rulings that they could have, but they did ask him to pay 100 million in damages over claims that he cheated a deceased friend out of intellectual property. Of course, Craig is trying to spin this as a victory, still trying to claim that he is Satoshi. Just a mess, really. Don't find it all that interesting. I'd be surprised if he made much of an effort to pay that 100 million. So, yeah. All right. That's it really for today, folks. Not sure how illuminating that was. Yeah, it's just a little bit sobering to see Bitcoin take a real hit here in Q4. So the Q4 Bitcoin bull run is very much on hold for this year. I think perhaps we pick it up again Q1 next year, maybe Q2. I think Josh likes Q2. So again, I would just encourage you, if you haven't watched it, watch Josh's video for a very objective, TA-driven take on where we are. But yeah, all right, better leave it there. This was the Crypto Conversation for Brave a New Coin.